Hamilton is driving his new Mercedes car on the second day of testing in Jerez, and Craig Slater has been watching him. Craig.
The grid's two Brits are in action on day two here in Jerez. Will it be a case of feast and famine for Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg in terms of mileage on track? Hamilton can look forward to familiarising himself at his leisure with the new Mercedes, given Nico Rosberg's 157 laps in the car on day one. That was a record, although Hamilton has had his issues at the start of testing with this team before. Technical problems and then a spectacular first corner crash here last year. He also has other things on his mind right now, having confirmed he has begun negotiations to extend his stay at Mercedes beyond this season. As for Jenson Button, he's just renewed his vows with McLaren and will be hoping that Honda have sorted out the glitches with the power unit in the car yesterday that limited Fernando Alonso to just 6 laps. Elsewhere, Sebastian Vettel will look to build on what was a pace-setting first day for him in the Ferrari. And it's also a massive day for young Max Verstappen, just 17 years of age. He commences his rookie season at Toro Rosso.
Yeah, thank you very much to Craig.
Now let's get the latest from Formula One testing, and Sebastian Vettel is quickest so far on day 2 of pre-season testing in Jerez. Lewis Hamilton is behind the wheel of the new Mercedes for the first time with the world champion and knows he's got his work cut out to match a teammate Nico Rosberg, who completed 157 laps on Sunday. While Hamilton's progress in Jerez under the watchful eye of Paddy Lowe, the team described yesterday's performance as the best ever start to testing. In contrast, though, McLaren managed just 6 laps yesterday. Jenson Button will be hoping the Honda engineers have fixed those problems that restricted Fernando Alonso's running. Yeah, so plenty going on across there, and we'll keep you up to date with the latest news from Jerez and also on the live blog on skysports.com.
Busy today, isn't he? Right, let's bring you some other stories. The latest from Formula One testing. Sebastian Vettel is quickest so far on day 2 of pre-season testing in Jerez. Lewis Hamilton is behind the wheel of the new Mercedes W06 for the first time. The world champion knows he's got his work cut out to match teammate Nico Rosberg, who completed 157 laps on Sunday. In contrast, McLaren managed just 6 laps yesterday. Jenson Button in the car today. Their problems continue with the team, say, is a recurring problem. Problems from Red Bull and Daniel Kvyat. He damaged his front wing on his installation lap. It's the only one they have in Spain, so they can only do some basic work today as they wait for a new one to arrive from Milton Keynes. Some solid running for Vettel, although he's only managed half as many laps as Hamilton. Lotus only arrived in Spain yesterday afternoon, so it's the first time we've seen the E23 in the flesh. New car sporting a conventional front nose, unlike last year's twin tusk design. And you can keep across all of today's day 2 testing in Jerez with our live blog on Sky Sports website. Busy.
Fantastic. Ziggy, you little legend. More football transfer news to come, of course, throughout the day here on Sky Sports News HQ. Don't go away. But let's just head briefly back to Spain, get the latest from F1 pre-season testing. Craig Slater in the pit lane a short time ago. First problems for Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, as predicted, it's been a day of contrasting fortune for the two Brits in action on the track today, Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button. For Hamilton, he's racking up the laps. He's going to get close to, if not quite surpass, Nico Rosberg's record 157 lap total on the first day of testing. That Mercedes really does look like a refined package. He's not the quickest on the timesheet. That's Sebastian Vettel again in the Ferrari, and incidentally he's taken 1.4 seconds off his quickest time of the day. And day 1, can't read too much into times at this stage, in all honesty. However, that car does look much more stable under braking than it did towards the end of last year, so positive signs for Ferrari. But issues down at McLaren where Jenson Button's only managed a handful of circuits today. McLaren saying it's a recurring problem. We don't know if it's the same issue that limited Fernando Alonso to only 6 laps yesterday, but the engine just doesn't sound quite right, and it will be a question afterwards whether they've been able to run any hybrid power at all Interesting situation at Red Bull as well. We've got that garish livery today. Daniel Kvyat's been in the car, but he went off very early on this morning and lost his front wing. It's the only one Red Bull have brought here, but they've been given special dispensation to run the car without that. But he's only trolling around at a very slow pace indeed. If we just take a look down here, however, this is the first little glitch that Mercedes have had this week. Lewis Hamilton's just pulled up on the entry to the pit lane itself, and you can see the team of engineers running down to retrieve the car. Curiously, just as Nico Rosberg has been over at the pit wall just to observe his teammate in action. Niki Lauda's been there as well. So just a little bit of a blip for them, which is interesting. But they do look extremely strong thus far in testing. It is early days yet, and a lot of the other teams, I think, will look to add performance as we go to Barcelona, and particularly in that final test ahead of the Melbourne Grand Prix. But yeah, just an interesting little moment we've captured there. The first little issue Mercedes have had to deal with this week.
And don't forget, you can keep across all of day 2 of pre-season testing in Jerez with our live blog on the Sky Sports website. Formula 1, Mercedes have had their first problem in an otherwise faultless testing programme so far on day 2 in Jerez. Lewis Hamilton was looking to better the incredible 157 laps posted by teammate Nico Rosberg on Sunday. That's more than 2 race distances. Well, he did at least complete more than 1 race distance, and he did set the second fastest time. However, he stopped the pit lane entry, a minor water system problem. Mercedes were confident the issue wouldn't delay them, but it has been more than 3 hours since Hamilton was last out on track. It's been another positive day for Sebastian Vettel and Ferrari. He's completed more laps than he did on day 1. Once again, tops the timesheet so far, the 4-time world champion. Another frustrating day, though, for McLaren. Just 6 laps yesterday. They fared little better today. Jenson Button with 5 laps, with the team suffering what they call a recurring problem, and with Honda power as well for the first time in a while. Problems for Red Bull in terms of the other car. Danny Kvyat damaged his front wing early on. It's the only one they actually have in Spain, so they can only do basic work today as they wait for a new one to arrive via private jet from their base in Milton Keynes. Now, Sauber will be pleased with their progress. Felipe Nasser, second fastest so far with over 70 laps after a good showing yesterday in a bright blue livery as well. And don't forget, you can keep across all of day 2 of testing in Jerez with our live blog over on the Sky Sports website.